Support and resistance is kind of like buying a stock in a certain zone. When stocks get to certain zones, they kind of bounce off of that zone or they react according to that zone. And based on how they react to that zone, you can find out what's the next move and what you need to do going from there. So in this video, I'm gonna give you a couple of examples of support and resistance. If you want to follow along or use the same thing that I'm using TradingView to show you support and resistance. But before I get into it, support is a certain area where the stock will bounce off of. I'm gonna give y'all an example in a second. And the resistance is a certain area where the stock will bounce down from in the chart. All right, so my first example I'm gonna show y'all is Palantir. I'm gonna show y'all the support and resistance levels. So on Palantir, it looks like we have support. Looks like we have support right up in this area. As you can see, every time the stock went down to this level, it kind of came back up. And as far as resistance, I'm giving this resistance right here. Every time it touched that area, it came back down. Now, the stock can always go above support and it can go below resistance, but you use these levels as part of an indicator to identify what's going on. So it broke through support. What happens when a stock breaks through support is that support now becomes resistance. So as you can see, as it went through, it toyed with going up above the new resistance, but it's staying down there. So that's support and resistance on Palantir. Now let's go to Apple. All right, and I like to look at the 5-minute chart. I feel like anything too longer than that is too prolonged. I need to get in the game and see exactly what's happening. So if you're looking at this here, it looks like Apple has support right around this area, and we got resistance about this area right here. So as you can see, it touched support plenties of times and it just bounced right off. Now it's right around resistance. It's currently at resistance as we speak. So the thing is, you probably can expect Apple maybe tomorrow or the next day to probably come back down. Now that's not guaranteed. The levels and support and resistance isn't the only thing that you should trade based off of. But if you are looking at support and resistance, that's telling me that there is a good chance that Apple should be coming down. My bad, that's on the 5-minute chart. Let me go to the 15. So the 15-minute chart, already got some support and resistance lines on this one. As you can see, we have a nice support down here, and we have resistance here. It ended up breaking through on Apple on the 15-minute chart. It ended up breaking through resistance, and now resistance is support. So that's one example. Let me give you one more example on Tesla. On the 15-minute chart, support and resistance. All right, we look like we got a nice level of resistance right there. And I would consider maybe this level. I think we got support going on right here. So as you can see, and another thing with support and resistance, that's another way to identify your patterns, right? Because you got the double bottom, you see it comes down here, goes up, comes back down here. So you got the double bottom, you got support and resistance. It came back down to support. So now it's heading back up. You got to use multiple things with your trade. Don't just use support and resistance. Don't just use the chart patterns. Use everything to your advantage. I'm Mike, the Money Motivator. If you want to get out here and get this money every day, y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe.